everyone to this Lunch and Learn series, special HR and people analytics. This is, I can say, the place to be if you are an HR leader, innovator, futurist, passionate about shaping the future of work. And we are in the final live before we take a short break for the summer with me and George. I'm Nicolas Pepani, LinkedIn top voice and HR people analytics leader. I'm thrilled to host today's conversation. Topic is reshaping organization everywhere, the age of generation shift. I'm thrilled to spend the next hour with you all, with George from UK. How are you, George? Welcome to the show.
I'm fine. Thank you very much for inviting me yet again, Nicholas.
You're welcome. We are very glad to have you. And now my special guest today is Dr. Syed Masroor Hussain Shah. He's coming from Pakistan. Welcome, Dr. Masroor, to the show. How are you?
Thank you so much. I am really very good, and I'm happy to be part of this learning journey. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my ideas and my insights.
We like your comments, in my LinkedIn post how often? I can say every day. So we are very glad. Dr. Masroor Shah is coming from Pakistan. He's an estimated HR scholar and practitioner from Pakistan. He has a PhD in human resource and years of experience in consulting organization on strategic HR. He is now independent consultant and he's working in Pakistan for some organization. He has I can say your specialty is about OD. Can you give us, more information? What is OD?
Yeah, organization development is a process whereby we look at the change management, at the issues, at the challenges. We go for a diagnostic review and we come up with ideas, recommendations, and propositions for the management. And in this whole process, we are going to engage the management, the key managers in the process, the employees, so that they could be part of this whole process and the change that is going to take place, that is being accepted and it is being carried out. And this is the process. And then we implement the change. We are going to go for the post change review. If there is any adjustment, any changes to be made, any modifications to be made, those are being made, and then the adjustments are being made. It is how the OD is going to take place. It is an evolving process, OD. So it is never stagnant. We are learning as a professional and practitioner, and at the same time we are going to learn from the people. The engagement of the people is very important in this whole process.
It's a pleasure to have you and to discuss about another topic about generation shift. Can I ask you one question? What inspired you to discuss about this generation shift? I know that George is very passionate about this topic as well, but what about you? What is inspired you to discuss about this topic with me today?
Actually, I will talk about two dimensions. I will take a couple of minutes to talk about it. One is the personal perspective and the other is the professional perspective. Personally, I have experienced, the silent generation, then coming down to baby boomers, then Gen X, myself, Gen Y is my wife, and Gen Z, my children, 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. So I have been interacting with my grandmother and with the elder cousins of my mother. They were from silent generations, and I learned a lot from them. Then when my father came, my mother came, they were baby boomers, and then they were a bit different from their previous generation, and they were complaining the same thing, that the older people, they don't understand us. So then after my parents, it was me and my wife. We started our life together, and then we were having the same kind of complaint, that why the previous generation doesn't understand us.
Yeah.
So now Gen Z, our own children, we think that we are the highly educated and enlightened people. At the same time, we can see that there is a lot of gap between us and our children, because their level of understanding and their vision, their overall perspective about life and professional life is totally different. So this is the personal perspective. And on the professional side, I worked with the baby boomers. I worked with Gen X as my peers, supervisors, and then Gen Y, and then Gen Z as well. Because in my one of the projects I worked for 2 years, it was a change management and restructuring project in Pakistan. So I was dealing with the Gen Z, even Gen Alpha. It was a school and a college and a technical institute. So I was working on that organization.
Yeah.
So when I am going to see all these changes, and I can see a lot of shift, and I see that there is always a kind of gap, a perceived gap and a real time gap as well. So it has created a lot of interest for me, and then I have been working on it. I have been learning about it, so that at least we could be connecting well with our children, with our two daughters and a son. So in this whole process, I was getting being mentored by my own children. There was a kind of reverse mentoring process, and we were
Yeah.
learning from the children as well. So this
Yeah.
is this is a complete perspective on the personal and professional side, which has really inspired me to learn more about it, and then connect me to the current generation and be relevant. If I am not being relevant, I'll be obsolete. So this is very important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this, great introduction. And we will, go to this, slides and research in order, to understand why, as you said, there is some gap in understanding between this generation, as you brilliantly said. There is a lot of, people like you as well. We have Generation Y, Generation X, baby boomers, and Generation Z working together.
Yeah.
I would like, to first slide and first the topic is about the today's workforce, right? In the generation, in the
Yeah.
organization, and this visual says a lot. That 1 out of 4 Gen Z professional say they truly invested in their current job, right? And 38% see it as a stepping stone, means
Yeah.
to an end. And 37%, and what we call this, and I really like this situationship job, is just there for a paycheck, right? So this is just not a pie for me, pie chart. It's a loud call for every organization to re-examine how we engage, motivate with this new generation of talent, because they are talent, they are working, and it's the rise what we are calling the situationship job, where commitment is casual, expectation are fluid, and long-term loyalty is no longer assumed. For me, what I see, and what does it mean for the HR leaders in the workplace culture? That's exactly what we need to unpack today to answer this question. And for you, Dr. Masroor, when do you see these stats? What's the first insight that comes to your mind about Gen Z and how they see the work differently from previous generation? And do you agree with this pie chart?
Uh, as far as situationship, absolutely a wonderful new learning for me. I was talking to my wife a few days before, and she was telling me that now there is a new, kind of term, which is situationship, and it is not only in the work; it is in the personal life of the Gen Zers. So, what I understand, that this is now the reality on the ground, that we are dealing and we are going to face a generation. They are going to dominate the workplace, and maybe after 1 or 2 years they will be in managerial positions. For example, my daughter, she is working in London. She has just started her career, and I'm sure that maybe 1 or 2 or 3 years down the line she will be a manager. Same case with my son. He has started as an AI engineer in Malaysia, and maybe in a couple of years, because these young people, they have certain things in their mind. First and foremost, they are very much conscious about their learning. Second, they are really very much conscious and interested about their vertical growth, their promotions, their getting senior roles, and importantly in this whole process, the process of recognition and appreciation, this is the key. At the same time, they are talking about the work life balance, they are talking about the career, but at the same time they have some different views. They want to change over the jobs. In case they are not fit into one organization, they will just switch over. They will not wait for the right opportunity. uh, and I see one more thing in these young people, that they have a very higher side of problem solving ability. I can see in my own children, for example, you give them a challenge, you give them a problem, and they will give you the solution. They will not wait, and they're so quick. So if they are quick in responding to your questions, in responding to the challenges that you are going to pose to them, they are at the same time expecting that they should be instantly recognized, appreciated, and they should be rewarded, and their learning side should be taken care of. So now this is the reality. We, the people from Gen X and Gen Y, who are in the workplaces working as managers, as senior executives, so we have to understand, and we have to design our work landscape in a way that it is going to address these requirements of the young people. And this is not a surprise, by the way. This is absolutely natural, because for example, as I told you, that I was complaining to my own parents that they are from the older generation, and there was a gap between them and us, and now there is a gap between us and our children as well. So we have to recognize this reality. So we have to reshape our workplace in a way so that it serves the needs. Otherwise, what will happen, that there will be a turnover, there will be attrition. The young people, they will not wait, because if they don't find something good for them, their work life balance is being disturbed, their career is not being taken care of, they will just leave. So we have to be ready for this, and we have to prepare our workplace.
I totally agree with that, because a comment I made on your post yesterday, Nicholas, was the fact that my own research actually showed that 43% of Gen Z and millennials felt that they were not receiving the development that they perceived necessary for career development. So seeing 38% as a stepping stone resume builder, I'm surprised that figure is so low. I think the more development people get, the longer they will stay with an organization. I think they will leave the organization once that development diminishes.
Absolutely, George.
Yeah.
And I have a very, very great point for both of you. I have one question that came to my mind, as you are in Pakistan, Dr. Masroor, and I'm thinking about one thing. And maybe you are not representing all the people here, but from your global, from how you can, see this global shift of the shift of the situationship job trend playing outside Western context, as well as in Asia or Middle East. Is that the situationship job is particularly for Western, or also in some other countries, or is a global issue?
Yeah.
What is your thought on that?
I think this is the situationship concept, or maybe I can say that a workplace reality. It is not restricted to certain countries now. I think this is now a global concept, a global practice, and a global issue. Because I can see it in Pakistan. I can see young people talking about situationship. I can see the young people, if they are not comfortable working with one organization, they will think about it, and maybe next day you cannot find them. So what I understand, that we change our mind, because what is happening, I'm working with certain organizations, that I can see that the people from Gen X and Gen Y, they are still a bit stubborn. They are dealing with the young kids, and the people from Gen Z, in their own way. So I still advise them, and tell them that you have to change yourself. It is how you will connect with these young people. Otherwise, they will come and they will stay with you. They will not even bother, what salary they are getting, what benefits they are getting. They will be thinking about their intellectual convenience. They will be thinking about their kind of peace of mind. Their health is not being affected. Their mental health is being taken care of, and they will take initial few months as a situationship with any organization. If they are taking it in personal, because when you are coming into the organization, you are carrying your personal life into professional life. Your attributes and your values, you are going to transmit those into your professional life as well. People say that we should isolate, but practically what I have seen, that you cannot isolate your personal habits and values from the professional side. It is always there. So it is a combination of both, which is driving you in your workplace as well. So there is a strong need for the managers and for the management. I am talking about my own country, because I can see even baby boomers still sitting in the organization. So I would like them to understand and change themselves if they want to be relevant, and if they want that the talent is not being lost, because young talent is really 60% of young population in Pakistan, they are aging between 25 and 35. So there is a youth bulge here. So I will strongly advise the government and the organization that take care of this young talent, and sync with them, so that they could be taken care of. And this young talent is, we can take benefit out of it.
Very, very inspiring.
I have a quick question for you. When we look at development and we look at Gen Z have a lot to offer as well. And I wonder if development could be a two-way thing between Gen Z providing sort of updated ideas to the management, and management providing them with their experience. Do you see a lot of Gen Z being given the chance to provide development across the organization for their own ideas?
It is again a change of mind. I understand that in developed economies and in the organization which are really progressive, the multinationals, I think this culture is almost there, and it is easier for those management, and because they understand the global concept and the global practices. In my part of the world, I think the people from the older generation, they have to understand. They sometimes, I feel, they talk about change. They talk about the young people, mentoring them and working for them and giving their best and taking part in the learning and development. But they don't accept from the core of their heart. For example, reverse mentoring, I don't think so they will listen to the young people, because they have a different mindset. They will think, oh, a young boy, a young girl of today, they cannot really advise us. We have a lot of experience. It's okay. You have a lot of experience. You have a wisdom. You gained over a period of time, but at the same time, you have to get the insights and ideas of the young people, because they are from today's age. It is how the creativity and innovation will take place in the organization, and we will become progressive as well. So I think still I can see a lot of gap, as you mentioned, George.
Thank you. Very inspiring, question. Thank you, George, for asking this question. And I would like, and thank you as well, Dr. Masroor, for your answer. And it's fascinating and very important that you said that is, a global, a generation issue, and not only for Gen Z one. I would like, to shift into our lens about leadership. Just a moment about this research that I have shared, for some times now, last year, regarding especially the general shift unfolding in management. As you can see in this chart, there is a powerful story, right? So Gen Z is projected to represent 10% of all managers this year. It was last year, this research, but now think about that. Just a few years ago, most Gen Z were still finishing school, right?
Yes.
So, and now many are stepping up to lead, to become manager, to become, C-suite, etc. What's changing isn't just demographic for me. It's a mindset, as you highlighted, Dr. Masroor, earlier, to this generation inspiring one.
Yeah.
These new leaders were raised in the digital age, as you said. There is a global challenge, and they are bringing radically different expectation to their workplace. As older generation like Boomer, Gen X, gracefully pass the torch. We are seeing a more diverse leadership ecosystem emerge, and one powered by purpose, as you said, flexibility. They would like more flexibility because this generation has, experienced the pandemic. They're working from home. They're working from
Yeah.
office less, but they have, work of that, and values alignment rather than hierarchy and tenure, right? So the question becomes how, and it's for you as based upon your experience. How do we prepare organization for this generation shift in management,
Yeah.
not just structurally, but emotionally, as you said, and more importantly, how can HR data help us with these emerging Gen Z leaders as they will take more and more, parts of any organization? What is your thoughts about
Yeah. Thank you for this. It's a very pertinent question from today's point of view. The workplace, the generational shift, and too many generations working together. When we are talking about the organizational growth or the people's growth, and this is the beauty of today's workplace, that uh, Gen baby boomers are there, Gen X is there, Y is there, and Z is there. So four generations working together. Maybe baby boomers are very few, but Gen X is definitely there, Y and Z is there as well. But this is a very beautiful scenario and very beautiful side, because they can make the workplace very strong with by combining the experience of the people from the old generation and then the ideas and wisdom of the new people. Now it depends that how the older generations they are going to accept the managerial roles of the young people, because young people, they will be behaving differently. They will talk about flexi hours. They will talk about hybrid and remote work arrangement. They will not bother about maybe about the formal dress, because they want to remain flexible. They want to be comfortable in their dress as well. At the same time, the fashion is totally different. I worked in one of the organization in Kuala Lumpur, and I saw the young girls and the boys. They were coming in the casuals, in the shorts. So
it?
they were working together. The management was not really very much conscious of it, because they were looking at the productivity side, the results, what they are producing actually.
Yeah,
So but it differs from culture to culture. For example, culture in Pakistan is different. Culture in other countries, it is different. So the HR managers and the CHROs, they have to work with the senior management, and importantly, the CHROs and the HR leaders, they should be really with forward-looking, kind of approach, so that they can talk of change. They can convince the management that the overall workplace scenario is changing very fast, so they have to change themselves. It is how, and then give the chance of working as managers to the young people. Don't say that they don't have experience. you know what we call experience in our part of the world, that 10 and 15 and 20 years of experience, this is what we call experience. My understanding of experience is that how much I have learned, what is the level of my skill, what is the level of my competence, and what I am producing, as a professional. So this is what I call it experience. It's okay, number of years is fine, but if number of years doing a small thing throughout the year, I don't think it is an experience. So let the young people lead and work with them, give them the leadership role as well. There is importantly, we have to work on our ego is the real bottleneck in this whole process, that our ego is always there. So and we think that no, we are more experienced, and we are we know more about the job, about the organizations, about the business. So these young people, they don't know anything about it. So this ego, it's a kind of myth that needs to be broken. So it is how uh, generations working together create collective wisdom, can create a common ground where they can all work together, and they can work for the growth of the people and for the growth of the organizations. So I think the real shift is the shift here in our mind, that needs to be strengthened, and we have to accept it.
very good, very inspiring, absolutely. And you are saying that we need, to let them lead, etc. But in your point of view, what risk or resistance might organization face with these younger leaders entering senior roles earlier? And how can HR use this, you know, the way of working in order to navigate this transition for you? What is the risk?
What I understand that this, this is a challenge right now, and it can be mitigated, it can be addressed. The only thing is that how wisely and how cool-mindedly the management and the HR leaders, they are going to use this talent, the talent from the previous generation and the talent from Gen Z, and
Yeah.
they have to create maybe what I understand that let go for the cross-functional projects, go for the projects where people from different generations, they are working together, give the lead role to the young generation. But at the same time, the young generation needs to be advised that they have to take care of the feelings of the people from the previous generation, take care of their maybe emotional side, be emotionally more intelligent, so that you could learn from the previous generation as well, because they have experience, tons of experiences there, tons of wisdom is there. So I think there needs to be a common ground where the young generation and the people from the Gen X and Gen Y and maybe baby boomers as well, they
Yeah.
work together. There could be maybe focus groups where they are part of the focus groups. There can be some informal things that can be done by the management, not always informal at the workplace. Go offsite, let the people sit together, let them play sports together, indoor sports, outdoor sports, uh,
Yeah.
you know, sing and dance together. So it is how, when there is a kind of increased engagement, and that engagement has to be arranged and ensured by the HR leaders and by the senior management. If they want that their organization grow, and the young people, they lead with respect, and the people from the previous generation, they accept the young talent and their leadership as well. So there is maybe challenges will come on the way. It is not that easier. When there is a change, it is a technological change or social change. Resistance is always there. But
Yeah.
we, as the HR leaders and the senior management, they have to think out of the box. They have to think wisely how to tackle those challenges, so that the ultimate end is achieved, and it is the business growth, it is the stakeholders value, as Dave calls it, and it is how the organization and the people will grow.
Thank you
One,
so
one,
much for
one,
that.
one
Yeah.
thing that came to mind, I mean, with the uncertainty that we have across the business world and the world in general at the moment, um, when we're forward planning, one of the things we often see is that managers get sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, they have a problem with the discontinuity that is brought about by forward planning, sort of realizing that what's gone before isn't going to necessarily help them in the future. But I
Yeah.
get the impression that Gen Z have a different attitude to that, and they will accept change a lot more readily and to move forward. Is that what you're finding?
Yeah, I agree with you, George. It's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true.
And one point that is very important about this change, and is leading these generations, that I would like to share with you about the management of Gen Z. That is very fascinating, because we rarely say out that managing Gen Z isn't different for many leaders. Isn't just different because it's challenging. We hear about that. Managing them is a frustration. Is not easy. This chart pulls back the curtain from frustration and stress to burnout. Gen Z management has become a pressure point across organization. Think about that. About this chart. Near half of manager report emotional strain. Productivity is taking a hit, as you can see,
Yeah.
and some feel overwhelmed and under resourced. But here's the real question: is this a Gen Z problem, or we are witnessing a generation misalignment, a disconnect between traditional management and evolving workplace values for you? That's the point that we need, to explore about these managerial pain points. Do you believe that really, Dr. Masroor, that this Gen Z is missing is misunderstood?
I understand that. I have a different perspective on it, and I will talk from my own personal experience, dealing with my own children. For example, they are all Gen Z. My daughter is 23, son is 21, and the younger daughter, she is 17. So what I understand that you have to tell them the values of the previous generation, what is working for them. There are certain values which are universal and which are carrying a lot of strength. For example, you have to be patient, you have to be consistent, you have to spend certain amount of time on learning, certain amount of time on family building, some and relationship building, certain amount of time in the workplace. This is one thing that has to come from the previous generation, teaching the younger generation what are the universal values and the truths which should be part of their character, because it will help them. There cannot be an outright change. It is simply impossible that there will be an outright change and Gen Z will absolutely find and adopt a different path, and it is how they will be successful. So this part is by the parents and by the older generations teaching the young generation. The young generation, they have to listen to the people, the views of the other people, so that they can learn, they can adapt, and it is how they can combine the wisdom of the previous and the innovation, the kind of agility and resilience of the young generation, and it is how they can create a workplace which will be more productive. I can see this slide, and I can see that frustration is there and stress is there. Why all these disconnects are there? Because the previous generation does not understand the reality, or maybe they are not still well prepared to accept that there is a generational gap now and there is a generational shift. So they have to learn about it. It is how they will learn and they will connect with the young people. If for example I am from Gen X and I have my own management style and I am going to manage the Gen Z with the same management style, I will miserably fail, because I could not align myself with the needs of the younger generation. So I think there has to be a response, a positive response from the younger generation to learn from the previous generation, and at the same time, the Gen X and Gen Y, they have to understand that the young people are different. They are tech savvy. They are strongly believing in their own work-life balance. They strongly believe in their vertical and horizontal growth. They are really worried about their the financial stability, because they talk about it. uh, all these things have to be taken care of. For example, what happened in the previous generation, so if my boss is really not nice to me, I will still stick to my job. I will say, oh, no problem, boss is being unfair to me, he doesn't give me promotion, he's being a little biased and jealous and whatever I call it. But we used to stick to our job. Okay, let's continue with the job, because how can I find the job? But the younger generation today is different. They will not even bother about the job and about their they will just switch over, and at the same time they will not stick to one job. They will be doing different things at the same time. And all these norms and the values need to be modified and changed, so that the younger generation could adapt to it, to the workplace. So it is how you will be able to lead the organization and build a future workplace that is productive and that is result oriented.
George?
I just noticed that Joe San Diego has asked the question, talking about the trend that Gen Z trust AI more than managers.
That's a good question.
Do you see that as a conflict, or do you see that as being maybe an improvement going forward?
And that's very interesting, question.
Yeah.
Because there is some research about that. Gen Z, instead of asking their manager, advice, etc., they are going, to ChatGPT, Copilot, etc., to asking, okay, what is your advice, etc., instead of their manager, that they are in their workspace, in the same office. Why there is this trend, this unfortunately bad trend, it's coming from this generation. How you explain that?
I think what I see that I will strongly believe in relationship building. That how much time by being a manager I am spending with my team from the Gen Z, from the young lot, from Gen Y and Gen Z. So if that relationship is built upon the trust, It is built upon the mutual respect, listening to the ideas, appreciating them. They will come back to you. And I am telling you based on my own personal experience, because I have dealt with Gen Y and I have dealt with Gen Z as well.
Yeah.
I am, for example, informally, I am mentoring the young people, the young managers. They come to me, they talk to me, they seek my ideas, and they have the complaint that their managers, they don't listen to them.
Yeah.
The problem is that really, did we open the window of our mind to the young people, that we listen to their ideas, we listen to their insights, and we accept those ideas, and we make those ideas part of our decision making and planning? Because this is the key, that we need to understand that if you don't give proper response to the young people, they have the choice. In the previous generations, for example, they had no choice, they had to come back to their managers. But now they have the alternatives. So I think you have to think about it, that where is the gap, why they are going trusting more AI and not their own managers. This is one of the reasons. The second aspect is that to certain extent we have to accept this reality. Now AI is there, so we create a room and flexibility for the young people. If they want to consult AI, for example, my son was telling me yesterday that they were facing some problem and he was working on some solution, and his managers, they were a bit saying that, okay, if it doesn't happen, no problem, we will see it, and you come back with the answer. So today he was going back home and he was telling me that that problem has been solved because I was working round the clock for many hours, and ultimately we solved that AI problem. So now if the young people, they work like this, you appreciate them, you maybe recognize them, you incentivize them, even because they need instant appreciation and recognition. This is the key.
Yeah.
This is very important.
No, very important. Thank you for highlighting that, Masroor. But before you jump about that, we put in the issue in the side of Gen Z. Okay, they are not be passionate, as you said, etc. But do you think that this question of Jose, and thank you, Jose, for asking this question, is there an issue about the leadership, about the manager themselves as well? The issue is more about the leadership issue. If my Gen Z employees, they are going to AI, I can ask myself as a manager, am I a good manager that Gen Z employees, or any kind of employees, it's Gen Z, or any kind of other generation, they are going to AI to get their answer or their solution? Do you not think that's the leadership issue, George?
I've as far as that is concerned, getting information from AI is fine, but then it needs to be put into context. And I believe that there is an opportunity for both AI and the management to work together to help Gen Z to do just that and put what they can learn from AI into a context that adds value. Just my thought.
Absolutely. And what do you think, Dr. Masroor? Do you think that it's a leadership issue as well for this question?
Yeah, I think to certain extent, I will say that yes, there is a leadership issue, because I want to go with my old leadership style and I don't want to change it. I don't want to be more democratic, more open-minded, and and this could be one of the reasons that my teams, they drift away from me. So AI is okay now, it is a reality. You cannot really keep it aside from the people. They will, whether you advise them or you don't advise them, they will go back to AI and they will ask ChatGPT or Perplexity what is the solution to it. But now you have to think that how to make your own leadership style different, so that you could synchronize with the young people. This is very, because I see a lot of misalignment and lot of ego in this as well. I have seen in real time the managers, even the managers in a very progressive organization, that they don't bother about the young people. They are having their own leadership style and they don't want to change. And I told them that please change yourself so that you could connect to the young people. Otherwise, what will happen, that they will, and it happened in reality, that the young people, they left the organization, and they, the people from the from my generation and from even from Gen Y, I think they have to think about their leadership style.
Yeah, absolutely. No, very important, part about leadership style should be adapted with all the generation. Thank you, Dr. Masroor. Another point that I would like, we talk about is about accommodation. It's important, not in terms of compromise, but evolution.
Yes.
This, data and findings that I'm showing you range in responses from managers to our Gen Z employees. Nearly half now give more frequent feedback to them. Over a third of them
Yes.
admit to micromanaging, and others adjust for work-life balance, offer flexible hours, or reducing workloads. Right. So this mix reflects two big tension for me: is our manager evolving their leadership style, as you said, with empathy and intention, right? And or they are reacting out as of confusion and overmail, right? The truth may lie somewhere in between, right? Because what Gen Z demands, flexibility, communication, values alignment, isn't outrageous, by the way. It's a sign of shifting the work culture, right? And the
Yeah.
organization that thrive won't be the ones is resisting, but the one listening to this demand, right? So today, Dr. Masroor, we'll explore the fine line between adaptation and over accommodation to guide it. How to guide it is there.
Yeah.
Which one do you see as a constructive evolution, and which might signal a deeper management, strain for you?
You know, I think from your conversation, I can take 2 points. One is adaptation, and the other is accommodation.
Yeah.
You know, as far as accommodation, I think it has to take place from both sides. uh, the uh, the the previous generations, they have to understand that they have to accommodate the young people. They have to take them along. They have to listen to their ideas. They have to respect their boundaries. They have to be more empathetic and more caring. They have
Yeah.
to ensure that when once the work has been passed on to them, no need to micromanage them and don't task them. Once they are home, don't really make phone calls and send emails in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So this has to be understood by the previous generations. The
Yeah.
younger generation, I think they have to think and they have to change themselves a bit as well. It is how they can accommodate with the previous generations. You cannot say that, okay, let the Gen X and Gen Y be out of the workplace and only Gen Z will work here. It can never happen in reality. At one time or the other, I think three generations will be working together. At this point in time, maybe four generations are there: baby boomers and X and Y and Z. These are together. But in maybe in coming few years, if baby boomer is out, then Gen X, Y, Z, and Alpha is there. Alpha is coming, after few years as well.
Very good.
So I think this accommodation has to take place. The other is that this cultural thing, it is evolving every time, and it doesn't mean that we have certain values, we created a culture and we are going to stick to those values through and through. Okay, review them after a few months, maybe 1 year. Talk to the people, listen to the people, go for the surveys, go for the informal and formal feedback, and take the insights. And it is how you can change the culture, you can readjust your culture. This is very important. And then adaptation has to take place from both sides as well.
Yeah.
The previous generation, they have to adapt to the new norms, to the new values. For example, they have to learn about, I have seen certain people from the previous generations, the phone and the laptop is just lying on their table, they don't even open it.
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
know so they have to learn that technology is the key. This is now not an option, it is a necessity. They have to learn about social media, they have to learn about the phone. For example, my children, they complain, the elder children, we got the smartphone at the age of 15 or 14 or 16, and the
Yeah.
younger sister, she has got the smartphone at the age of 10, 11.
Mhm.
So even amongst the same generation, there is a lot of gap.
Yeah.
So this adaptation has to take place. Then we are going to teach our children that you are a little away from these facilities. Now this is a necessity, so this your younger sister has to take this smartphone.
Yeah.
So I think this accommodation and adaptation has to go side by side by both the generations. If one generation is going to be stubborn and stick, then it will be a conflict and challenge in the workplace.
I
And
love
I think this has to be monitored. This has to be monitored and redesigned by the HR leaders and by the senior managers. They have to work round the clock.
Yeah.
It is not simply a work to be done by the HR managers that okay, CHRO is responsible. Yes, CHRO is the responsible custodian of the culture of the workplace, but will work with the managers and with the senior managers.
Yeah.
So their acceptance is very important.
Thank you. Thank you. Very inspiring, word accommodation and adaptation. Yes, George, from the comments.
Yeah, I'd like to pick up on something that was on your previous slide, and that was micromanagement.
Yeah.
And I think that's the wrong line to go down. With Gen Z to be able to own their own work, that's the only way that they are going to get the development that they perceive necessary for their advancing their career. So I think I'd like to see micromanagement change to mentoring and the provision of support. And I think those two things are different things,
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's one area that I would sort of go, don't like that.
Oh, I agree with you. Yeah, mentoring and coaching, it is very important. It is the key. It is the key because coaching and mentoring, for example, what I feel that it should be done formally and informally by the organization. And as far as mentoring, I should be prepared to be mentored by the young girl and the boy in the workplace. So this is very important. This is what we need to learn. And I'm learning, from the young people, from my own children. My son is teaching me, my daughters, they are teaching me as well. I'm sorry, I'm making reference to my children because they are from Gen Z actually, and we are experiencing our own home every day,
Yeah, absolutely. Let's discuss about another topic that is very interesting as well about data point, and invite us for reflection. And I would like to show you, Dr. Masroor, is another research that I have shared on LinkedIn some times ago. Is about the cross generation baby boomers, Gen X, millennials, and even Gen Z themselves. There is a growing sense that Gen Z work habits clash with established norms. So from boomers, and Gen Z themselves, there is 55%, it is 67%. The message is friction is real, right? Is in the workplace and between themselves, but is really a clash or is it transition? And what older generation label is erratic, Gen Z might call intentional, right? So this isn't just about right and wrong, it's just navigating the difference, curiosity, judgment, right? And those to this generation, what is interesting, they are more clashing with themselves rather than other generation. It's very interesting about that. Do you agree that did you have observed that, Dr. Masroor, in your consulting firm, that they might clash with each other rather than other generation? What is your thoughts?
I think this is not a clash. I will call it a transition from previous generation to the next generation. And then, for example, as I told you, I was interacting with the silent generation, then my parents, baby boomers, and then Gen X and Y and Z. So it is a transition that is taking place. And in this course of transition, there is always something which is different. One person or one generation is doing different, the other generation is doing different. Yeah. So at one point in time, they are coming to a point whereby they are going to go and stick to one tangent point, and it is we call that it is comfort, it is peace, it is happiness, it is working together. But you cannot completely rule out the habits being different from one generation to another, because it is always there, and this is very natural. So we don't call it clash, what I understand. But I will say that this is a transition, and it is taking place from one generation to another, and it is how the life goes on. If you are going to, for example, just take these things out of the life, what is life then? What is the excitement of life? What is the struggle? What is the effort that we make? Because we are always there to fill certain gap, and it same goes true for the generational shift. It is a transition. The second point is that Gen Z, having clash and conflict with their own habits. And I have literally seen it, by the way, because, for example, you are saying the Gen Z, the young boys and the girls, they are saying, oh, we like our privacy, we have boundaries, we have to create boundaries, don't interfere. Even our own children, they tell us. At the same time, you're seeing the same thing on the social media. They are sharing, with their friends and with the public on the social media. So, now this is a conflict. On one side, you are talking about privacy. On the other side, it's a paradox,
Yeah.
For example, then they are saying, we have our own individual space.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you strongly believe in belonging and, social life and social setup, and the friends, they are meeting with each other offline and online both. So if, for example, the Facebook and Instagram and, Snapchat and all these apps, all the young boys and the girls are there. I'm also using all these apps for example, for my own purpose, for learning and for sharing. But, now this is again a kind of conflict between the values of the generations. At the same time, you are saying that you need a digital detox.
Yeah.
But you are going to go with the digital all the time. And I think I read your article, one of the article, where they are saying that there is a concept of FOMO, or a fear of missing out. That fear of missing out is there with this young generation as well, that they don't want to be missed out. They, for example, if they are eating something, they are going somewhere, offsite, they are having, they are putting on some new clothes, new fashion, they have a new phone, new iPad. So they want to show it to the people as well. On one side, digital detox is there. On the other side, then, so this is what I see, that maybe it is natural, or maybe it will settle down with the passage of time, that the young generation, they will change. And ultimately, what I see, that they will be more open-minded, they will get out of all these paradoxes. But it will take a bit of time. It will take few years, because I have seen young people changing. They stick to their ideas. They sometimes get stubborn. But ultimately, when you create a space for them, talk to them, convince them, and I think they understand. They understand the reality, that this is the reality of life. Because life is not something that is revolving around ideas, and fantasies and imagination all the time. Life is real, because something is standing in front of you. Now you have to handle it. Something is sitting here, it is okay. But if the same thing is standing in front of you, then you have to deal with it. So I think what I see, that we create space for the young people to come up to the level where they understand and they settle down.
Thank you so much for this amazing, insight, package of insight about this Generation Z. And, I'm sure that, there is a lot of, inspiring, you're inspiring a lot of, comments and ideas about, readers. Now, for each week, we are, reviewing the HR news. We zoom in this week, boldest headlines from the journal and all the newspaper. And what I have selected for you is about the Wall Street Journal, that is time to rethink the one-page resume. That's right. The age-old rule that resume should fit a single page is being challenged, not by candidates, but by AI bots, right? The artificial intelligence become the first reader of job application. The old gospel of, brevity is losing ground. A resume that's short might not give enough signal for machines to be selected and to be in the round of, selection for big companies. So what does it mean for job seekers, for recruiters, for also HR leaders? Isn't just about page count, it's about the strategy, personalization, how we can sell themselves. Even in LinkedIn, there is a strategy, to have a nice, LinkedIn page to be selected or to be contacted. Dr. Masroor, about this shift in resume formatting, that is more than formatting tweak, by the way. What do you see a deeper implication of AI, or do you think that, and there was some research I have shared, maybe 2 years back, that they're saying that oh, in less than 2 years, the one-page resume will disappear completely. What do you think about this shift? And what
You
is
know,
your thought?
yeah, I understand that in this age, when we have social media so much active, for
Yeah,
example, we are working on LinkedIn for a few hours every day. The potential employers are there, the potential employees are there, candidates are there.
yeah,
uh, what I understand that resume should be as crisp and precise as possible, so that it takes maybe a 60 seconds or 90 seconds for a hiring manager to just scan through it. And and what I feel that right now the organization, they look at your LinkedIn profile. For example, if I apply for a consulting job or consulting work, so they are saying, okay, share your LinkedIn profile. They are going to see my presence on the LinkedIn, they are going to see my presence on Facebook or on TikTok, what I am doing, and how I am going to use that space, and what is my presence, what are my ideas and my insights. I think that I still feel that maybe one page or maximum 1.5 page resume is more than enough at for any point in time. I was talking the same thing maybe 15, 20 years before, and I'm still talking the same thing, that resume should be one page or maybe slightly more than one page, not more than this. You if ultimately, when you talk, when you work, we talk about the skills and we talk about the competence. We don't talk about what happened in the past. Past is over. So we only talk about today, and that is skill based, that is competence based, and that can be ratified from LinkedIn, that can be ratified from Facebook, from other social media apps. So I think I strongly believe it should be shorter in version.
Jordan. Yes, you are absolutely right. Our LinkedIn page is becoming our CV in a way, as you
Yeah.
rightly said. You
It is
click
your
on
professional profile.
yes.
LinkedIn is professional profile, it's more than enough, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much for your inspiring, answer for that.
Welcome.
The second news that I have selected for you for this week is about, say again, Wall Street Journal is about bosses should never speak first or even second in a meeting. So I would like, to highlight this news about leadership silence, right? The insight is that when leaders speak too early, they create a cognitive ripple effect that discourages dissent, curiosity, alternative thinking, right? About that. And what happens when manager holds back instead, allowing junior team members or new joiners, to shape the discussion first. And Dr. Masroor, in your experience, how powerful is meeting dynamics when it comes to fostering inclusion across generation for you? And do you agree with about this suggestion?
I think I agree with this statement, and this is important. Why it is important? Because when the leaders are the people who are going to chair certain gathering or meetings, and then they start talking about it, they start influencing the minds of the young people. And when they speak too much and they share everything, and then they're going to seek ideas and insights from the people sitting around the table, I think then they've already closed the window. What I understand, that if I am sitting as a leader in a meeting, in a gathering, and
Yeah,
I just need to pose a question, and I should wait that what will be the ideas and insights of the people, and I should be the last one to speak. I should listen to all the ideas. I should build my own mindset, and it is how you are going to create an inclusive culture. Because nowadays, what is happening? This is one of the issue as well with the previous generation and the current generations. That the
mm,
current generation, they want to talk, they want to share ideas, their insights, and they want to be recognized for that as well. They
yeah,
want to be part of the decision making process. They want to be part of the strategic planning, of the organization. So I think today's leaders, they need to understand that they have to create space and let the people talk, let them speak out, let them share their ideas. Pick the good thoughts, pick the good ideas, and make them a part of your planning, make them a part of your decision making. It is how you are going to create inclusive culture. For example, now the workspace is virtual, most of the time. One person is sitting in US, the other, for example, you, me, and George, we are sitting in three different countries right now, and we are talking about the same thing. So it is how we can create an inclusive culture, that we listen to the thoughts of the people. The people will be coming with different background. The woman is there, the man is there. There is so there is a lot of diversity. So if you want to recognize, if you want to appreciate the diversity, and you want to create an inclusive culture, so I think I will agree with this strategy and with this statement.
Thank
And
you.
I would request and the managers to please go for it.
Go for it. Thank you. Thank you for your recommendation. Thank you so much for your, sharing your thought. It's this isn't the end, but I would like, to as I'm asking, the question in the end of each session, what is your one bold recommendation you would make to HR leaders, organization who truly want to evolve to the next generation of talent, not just managing them, about this topic, that something goes beyond checklists and metrics, something that will impact them, about this generation shifting? What do you recommend them?
I think what I understand, that self-awareness is very important. I have to be aware of myself. It is how I will create a positive, inclusive, creative work culture, involve the people, and innovation and creativity will come into the workplace, into the business. It is how the organization will grow. So I need to be aware of myself more than I am trying to know about the other people. So I think this is the key, and I will send a strong message to the managers that work on your self-awareness. Know yourself first before you try to know the other people. So it is how you will be creating a very positive, productive, and creative workplace for the future. And this is important because some of the businesses, some of the organizations, these are being shut down due to the non-participative management and leadership of certain leaders in the organizations. So please be aware of yourself, and it is how you will be changing, and you will be believing in transition and taking the people along. It is how the business will benefit, the people will benefit, and you will benefit as well.
Thank you so much for this WeBrand's Launch and Learn session with you, Dr. Masroor. Uh,
Welcome.
Before the final, final one, was this final one before a summer break, I would like
Thank
to
you.
extend a sincere thank you to you, everyone who joined, share inspiring question in the comments. It was generation dynamics. We explored generation dynamics. We unpack the data here for the research, and none of them would be possible without the thought, leadership, and brilliance of Dr. Masroor here, and also uh, George Kemish, that was with me today. This isn't the end; it's the beginning of more inclusive and curious workplace area, as we can say.
Yes,
Um, so thank you so much for sharing your inspiring comments today. It was a
it's a
very,
great
very
pleasure.
interesting
It's a great
one. We can, if you would like, like Dr. Masroor to join me as a guest, you can book your spot in my calendar, online shifting, and be
We'll do
my
that.
guest.
It will be a great pleasure to be part of this community, and I will be very happy to share thoughts and insights on different topics and learn from the other people as well. And
Thank
thank you so much to you and to George and community for
you.
creating a very inclusive space for learning and developing together. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masroor,
Big
to be
thank
there.
you
Yes,
because
George.
I was going to say a big thank you because I've found this insightful, thought-provoking, and very timely, actually. So thank you so much for your discussion today. Really
Yeah.
good.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you for your inspiring, both of you, inspiring insight. It was very inspiring for this discussion. George, we are back end of August. If you agree, on 29th of August, we will back Friday, 29th of August. A short, I can say, summer break with a new guest we will discuss. Until then, I will, of course, share this resume of this inspiring conversation with Dr. Masroor on my newsletter. You can also yeah, I will also share, in the my YouTube page It will be recorded, so you can look at it later if you
Thank
would
you.
like. Thank you so much. Have a nice summer all. Take care of yourself and see you soon.